Hi everyone! Today we're going to talk about how to balance work and life, particularly for us with owning businesses and also having a son and being married. We're just going to kind of chat about how we make all of that work, or at least how we really try to, make that work. So, I would say to kind of start out that communication is like 100%. So,
Absolutely.
Whether you're working with your spouse, which obviously, of course, helps us a lot because even like when we're working, we're together, which is fun. We enjoy kind of just enjoying that day together. But whether you're working with your spouse or not, communication is like 100%. So the more that you can really try to communicate, hey, what's our day gonna look like today? All right, cool. Kind of almost coming up with a plan so that way you're not just assuming that the other person is really knowing, what it is that you want to do with your evening or whatever it may be.
Right.
That's the best way to start out. I mean, would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that definitely you have to understand that even though you guys are doing the same thing each day, it's definitely important to have a structure of some sort. In the mornings, you kind of have to plan out your day. And then that way, also in the evenings, once you're done with your, obvious job time, then you have to start having family time. And you have to plan that out as well. Otherwise, You'll go through the day not knowing what to do. You'll kind of jumble it all together. You'll start mixing work and life, and then vice versa, life and work. And then all of a sudden, your life feels like your work never ends and you really never have time for each other. That doubles up, especially once you start, including your children into the equation. And then there's a whole bunch of other side things that you have to start including, like getting, your laundry done, your cooking done, if you want to work out or stuff like that. Like there's always these little things that start to rack up your time as you start doing things together.
Right. And a lot of that comes down to like, if you're planning on working at home, and like having an office space somewhere at home versus like renting a space or having an office. Like for us, we have an office within our brokerage that we've really found we're most productive if we're able to go there, even if it's for a portion of the day. So like for our business, some of what we're doing, we're looking at houses, we're meeting with clients, we are sometimes even looking at our own investment properties or like, potential for that. But there is definitely time that you have to do paperwork, you have to be doing calls and that kind of thing. Right. So if you can have a separate space where you can kind of be working, that we found that that's really helpful. We've tried to do that at home, and sometimes it works to do it at home. Like if you're just having that kind of day that you're like, you know what, I'd rather just be home today. That's one perk of being self-employed, and that's nice.
So our camera memory card was full, so unfortunately we'll take it from here. But so Stephanie just ended up saying about having a different workspace area. And I think if you have the ability to do it at your own house, I think that's great. More to you. I think that that's amazing. It's something that I would love to eventually be able to get good at. But I think definitely having the workspace outside of the house, being able to separate the two definitely makes it a lot easier, both on myself and the family, just in general. I feel like I'm much more productive. I can kind of focus and separate the two. Definitely came from that background, so I'm kind of used to already going to an office space and then coming home and being able to spend time with the family separately. Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. And then the next thing I would say would be when you are in a type of business where, like, if you're a business owner or some sort of self-employed, something like real estate where you're kind of always on in a sense, but like sometimes your business can wax and wane as far as how busy you are, to really be like conscious of that and be really treasure the times when you do have extra time. So let's say it's a time when business might be a little bit slower, you've already put in a ton of work, done things that you need to do to be able to further your business for that day, and you have some extra time and you don't have appointments. That might be a good time to take advantage of, let's go for a walk together for an hour, let's spend some family time. Or we've even had times where there'll be like a weekend where we don't have showings, and normally showings Saturdays and Sundays are very busy, but if there's a weekend that's free, sometimes we'll just like look up on a map, we'll be like, oh, where haven't we been? Oh, I don't know where that town is, let's go check that out, and we'll just go for a day trip. And that kind of thing where you can disconnect a little bit, even if you have to stay available to your phone. We found that can really help, just help create life experiences without having to like continually just chug forward with your businesses all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that definitely makes a good point, because when we tried initially to just plan out a vacation and kind of stick to work, and stop in vacation, we realized stopping and vacationing wasn't going to be realistic, especially once we had things really moving along. We realized that we were going to be on our phones quite a bit throughout that vacation, and it wasn't really getting...
Yeah. And we
know.
do still vacation occasionally. You know, it's more something that we just have a network set up where we know who we can hand things off to, or we just kind of
Right.
recognize that the trade-off for having such a flexible schedule now and not having to be in an office 9 to 5, that kind of thing, the trade-off is, okay, you do have to kind of check in every now and then on vacation. You can't just,
Right.
especially as a business owner, you can't just completely turn it off. And at first that was kind of, it took a little bit to get used to, but it's like, you know what, I would rather be able to control my own schedule, have my own business, and be able to travel, even if you can't completely disconnect when traveling. That's just not realistic right now.
Yeah, and it definitely can get depressing whenever you're trying to run a business and there are those downtimes. So being able to separate yourself while it's slow is definitely beneficial just for mental health, and kind of rebuild that energy. So that way, you know, you might take a day off, you might take 2 days off, whatever it is. You know, just separate yourself a little bit and then come back strong after that short mini vacation that you can take, and just mental health rebuilding time.
Right.
We found that to be super effective.
And that way too, when it is busy, and it can feel like things are nonstop, you're working, you know, 7 a.m. to midnight, you know, every day, you can kind of keep in the back of your head that, you know, okay, in a couple weeks, this is going to slow down a little bit. This is just for a little bit of time. You can hustle, and then you will have your rest time. So you just need to make sure to take advantage of that rest time when you get it. So yeah, that kind of helps you be able to really move forward in a lot of things. You know, if you do have a spouse, or you have, you know, a significant other or something like that, making sure to be there to help each other with that, so that you can kind of, like we were saying before, communicate, you know, what it is that you're going to be expecting for that evening. Like if you're like, you know what, for my sanity, I really need to go to the gym. Can you watch the kids, or, you know, whatever that may be. Whatever it is in your life situation, kind of like help understanding that what the other person needs, you know, and if you don't have that, you know, finding some sort of a network, you know, I know that there's a lot of like moms groups or dads groups around, different types of play dates and that kind of thing that you can try to set up just to be able to leverage your time a little bit so that you can take care of yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely am one to have to, you know, want to go to the gym whenever I have the opportunity to play basketball.
Yeah, he's really big into basketball. And sometimes I know, like, okay, needs a little bit of basketball time.
Yeah, so
and that's something that you just need to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So whenever I have that evening, you know, it's one of those things that you definitely have to talk about.
Right.
Definitely have to like keep each other in check, kind of deal, so that you're always not just like feeling like the other person's having, you know, that advantage over you or whatever. It's definitely important to keep that in mind as each person tries to have their own time or their own little, you know, break apart, you know, mental rebuild, little session thing, whatever it is that they do. I would definitely
rebuild session.
Yeah.
That one.
So if you, at any point, I would say that you should definitely find something that you're interested in.
Right.
Either whatever's drawing, or if you just want to go do yoga, or, you know, whatever it is to you, I would say find that thing that makes you happy, relieves stress, and that way when you get home after doing that for an hour or two, you're ready to go.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really important. And then also, like, if you do have children, or, you know, children or pets or whatever that may be, you know, trying to find a space where they can be with you when needed. So, you know, for us, for our son, if there's a time that's like outside of his school hours that we know that we both need to be working in the office or whatever it may be, you know, we just kind of set up a little space. We're thankful that we do have a space where we can put, you know, some toys and some activity books and that kind of thing. And it's his own little desk in the office where we know, okay, he's with us. He actually really likes it. He gets really excited because I think there's like mints and stuff at the office. He's like, yay, candy. And, you know, it's kind of something that we make that an environment that he enjoys. And, you know, everyone's situation is going to be different on that. But if you can try to make a way that them being with you is enjoyable and something that's doable, then that way it can just give you a little bit of extra time and not make you, you know, feel guilty at all for not having them with you or having to find a sitter or whatever that may be.
Yeah, it's extremely important. I mean, there's times where the kids are not going to be able to go to school, they're sick or anything, you just are going to have to bring them along to the office or keep them at home with you if that's where your office is at.
Right.
So having just a space for them to go and things for them to do is definitely going to make your life easier, and it's going to make that balance, especially if you need them to be around at times. I think just being able to bring them along, have them next to you, and just feel that, connection, even though they're beside you or whatever. That's kind of what we like to do at our office, have just a space for him just in case we need that time with our son, just to have him there.
Right, definitely. So hopefully those different tips can be helpful to you as far as what we do to balance work and life. If you have further questions on any particular topic or even anything that we forgot about or didn't discuss today, please comment down below, because we would like to make more videos about whatever it is that you're interested in. And of course, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so that you can be notified whenever we create new videos. We are going to be trying to upload videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So stay tuned for that, and let us know, please, if you have any questions or anything you want us to video, let us know.